Here in Brazil, the name of the show, just for you to know, it's Lances da Vida, because it's like the translate is things of life. Like,
Oh, really?
I, yeah, I
For
don't
for
like
one
that.
Hill?
Yeah, One Tree Hill. It's
Oh, wow.
here.
I did not
Yeah,
know that.
I did not
yeah.
know that.
Because
Wow.
One Tree Hill is a song of
Yeah.
YouTube, right? And make all of sense when Karen says to Lucas, "There is only one Tree Hill, and it's your home." For us in Brazil, makes sense this time. And I was a kid, and I was like so mad because Lances da Vida, things of life. I don't know. It's like a drama, serious name. But now Stephen knows another word in Portuguese. Lances da vida. Okay.
How do you
Wow.
say that? We'll try to say it. What is it?
Lances
Lenses
da
da
vida.
vida. Lenses
Vida is
da vida.
life. The first question is, James, at Drama Queens, you told that does not remember a lot of scenes of the show. So I want to know what is the first memory or the first scene that comes to your mind when you think about One Tree Hill.
Oh man, that's a really good question. I mean, I think the sequence that's sort of burned into my mind is the River Court game at the end of the pilot episode, because I remember that being a scene that a sequence that I really loved when I read it in the script, and to shooting the pilot felt like we were shooting a little feature film because we didn't actually know if it was going to continue on and go to series. So you didn't really know whether or not that was the only time you were going like, to me, that was the culmination of the event. That was what I knew as you know, at the time it was called Ravens. So, and I remember, shooting that whole sequence. It was all at night. We shot all night long. We basically shot from when the sun went down to the sun went up. And, it was one of those situations where they are literally saying cut right as the sun's coming up over the horizon and everybody's cheering because we made it. It was a really, really special moment for me as a person. And then, when I remember watching it, and thinking it was an amazing climax for the episode and such a great way to introduce the dynamics between the characters. So much about that sequence really was very, very memorable to me.
Even before James answered, I was thinking of the river court and down there by the river in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's a good way to put it as far as, instead of maybe a scene necessarily, or just like an area that kind of paints the picture of Tree Hill. In my mind, you know, one of the first scenes that I shot in season 4 when I came on the show, Chase and Brooke are going on a little date, and they're down there by the river, and there's a little band playing. They do a little dance. They get ice cream. That scene was shot just across the river from where the river court is in downtown Wilmington. I always really enjoyed when we shot there or on the other side at the river court. To me, I always like big landscapes and big views. And that view, either way, whether you're looking towards the battleship and the river court from downtown Wilmington or from the river court towards downtown Wilmington, it's been burned in my mind. It's a city that is unlike anything that I've seen growing up because I'm from California. The architecture is completely different. And, I was young when I first got there. So I was, like, whoa, like it's almost like if I would go to Brazil right now, I would do the same thing. I'd be like, oh, look at this place. This is cool. So that the image is not necessarily a scene. If I had to pick a scene, doing my first scene there is one that sticks out the most, just because there was a lot of emotion for me, going into doing that first scene there. But later at the end of the season, we're there, on the river court, signing our names and so on and so forth. And the way they would light up
Mhm.
downtown just made it. That was all um, our crew that would really make downtown look so beautiful, light it so well, and make it that memory that's really burned into my memory.
Yeah, it's awesome. For me, it's the scene that Nathan is with Haley, the first class of tutor class, I think. And James say, "Don't say I never gave you anything." For me, it's
which
that
was
scene.
well,
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. I
yeah.
want to go to Wilmington. I think it's a beautiful city. I went to California and
Oh,
I love
nice.
it. Yeah, I did the road trip with the car and at the highway one, I think.
PCH, Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's
Beautiful.
amazing. I was like, listen, like almost crying the music of
Oh, the
DLC.
OC, the music of the
Yeah,
OC. That's great. That's great.
yeah.
I feel that there is much more opportunity now from our side of things. To there's many more places for a TV show to live, and more audiences, more niche kind of audiences. I think there's opportunities for boutique sort of operations that might have like a specific kind of sense of humor, or are looking for those like cult audiences that you wouldn't really have that a long time ago when there was only a handful of channels and a handful of TV shows on each one. I think that the space nowadays is a lot more open for independent filmmakers and people who want to make independent television, to get their story out there. And that I think that just invites more voices in, a greater diversity of points of view and perspectives. So I think it makes everything a lot more interesting. And I love, that it allows us to connect with the fan base so much easier. I think there's just
Hmm.
great synergy between streaming and social media that really allows you to find a following when you might not otherwise have been able to. I mean, One Tree Hill was a popular show in the United States, but it wasn't nearly as popular as it got when it finally got onto Netflix. And I think it's not on Netflix anymore here, obviously, but I think it first got onto Netflix sometime around 2010 or 2011. And I specifically remember all of us coming back from a hiatus and coming back to Wilmington to shoot a season, and going like, is it just me, or are you guys getting recognized everywhere like we never have before? Are there more people that we're seeing coming into town to like see Wilmington? The fan base like grew over 3 months because we got on to Netflix. So to see the impact that it's had has been pretty extraordinary.
Yeah. It's also technically for us, you used to be limited for cable where you have to shoot the episode. If it's a half hour, 22 minutes, maybe give or take a couple seconds. It has to be right on the number. Hour long, 44 minutes has to be right there, fit the commercials in. Now, it's a good thing and a bad thing because you get a little more freedom, because I think sometimes you can notice in some shows where they cut really quickly, or they have to fit it into that window. So they just make some weird cuts and they prioritize certain things. Streaming, you have a little more freedom. Some episodes are 32 minutes, some are 28, some are 39, and I think unless it was a very special show, you weren't able to expand your time back in the day. But now you have a little more freedom, but you still got to make sure you're being picky and you're cutting it and cutting it and cutting it. It's just too much time, and that can be a problem as well. So you still have to be able to cut it down, but you get a little more freedom, which is nice.
One Tree Hill receives a lot of love of this day after all these years. You're going to a convention. We were talking about that. So I want to know, the cast and the crew also speak about the bad and wrong things that happened on those days, and the fans were really sad about it. How do you handle looking back in the time with the good and bad memories from the past?
Yeah, I think it's probably not so much different from any life that's lived, right? There are things that happen that are unfortunate. There are things that you learn from your experiences, and I think that this show was very much our college and our first job. It lasted almost a decade of our lives, and those happened for, Steven and I happened to be some of the most formative years of our lives, almost our entire adult lives, up until we left the show. And so I think that looking back on it, it just comes with all of that weight in general. And for every single person, that means something different. But I think the fact that it has ultimately left a positive legacy with the fans of the show, who, we that's who we made it for. The fact that it still sits in a positive way with the fans of the show is something that we are really, really grateful for, and don't take for granted.
According to Variety, One Tree Hill will have a reboot on Netflix, so the fans are really excited about it. What do you think about it, the reboot? Because now they are going to do the things in their their terms, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're fans of One Tree Hill. We're 100% supportive, and we know it's really exciting news for the fandom. And that, I think that I don't want to speak for Steven, but I just feel like it brings a smile to our face. We are so just focused on getting season 2 of our show out there. It's literally the first thing we think about when we wake up in the morning. It's the last thing we think about when we go to bed at night. And we have had zero time to sort of engage with anything else, outside of our little world here. We're like trapped in this fishbowl until we can finally get this released. But we have seen the coverage of it in the news, and that's about as much as we know about it, is what we've
Yeah.
read. Just like you. I mean, my personal reaction is congratulations to everyone involved. And, I hope that it's seen. I don't know where they are in development, but I obviously, I hope that it is seen through, and yeah, everybody comes away from it happy and fulfilled.
And you are going to the convention, Stephen. Are you excited? James, you will go to in Wilmington?
Mhm.
Is this weekend
Yes,
or no?
this weekend. Yeah, September 21st. That's Saturday.
Yeah,
Yes, they're gonna do. Yeah, it is. Yeah, September 21st is Saturday. Conjunction with
that's amazing.
FWB charity events. We're doing a game and hosting a bunch of different events, but there'll be a basketball game that is kind of the main thing I'm taking part of, and I know James is as well. Which should be fun, and it'll be live streamed as well. Not
Hmm.
sure if the stream it should make it down there in Brazil, hopefully. But I don't want to
I
speak out of
watched it,
turn.
the last one. I watched
Okay,
it, the game. Yeah,
you got any
it was
basketball
it was
tips for
nice.
me?
Oh, I watched it, but I was really sad because I wasn't there. So I
Oh, you're
stopped
sad because you
watching.
weren't
I
there.
was like, they are having fun and I'm not there.
I'm so glad you
So
finished that sentence that way because I thought you said it was really sad, which you meant like our basketball.
no,
But you said that you weren't there, and my heart dropped for a minute. So thank you for saying that it's because you weren't there.
no, I'm sorry about my English. I'm doing
No,
my
your English
best.
is fine. It was. I'm. It's more in here. You're worried about playing bad
We're
basketball.
projecting. We're projecting.
Yes, yes, exactly.
No, don't do that. You guys are awesome. I'm so happy to talk with you guys. And I hope you guys came to Brazil because here is awesome.
Yeah, consider this us awaiting our invitation. If anyone wants a screening of Everyone is Doing Great, if anyone wants to watch me and Steven play basketball, we are there.
Yeah.
And you want us to come to Brazil, we would love to come. Again, we actually do feel a connection with our Brazilian fans and the Brazilian supporters who have gotten us here. So, that would be an absolute dream.
Yeah, I just want to second what James said. Always looking for a reason to come down to Brazil, and we felt like, or we feel the support from Brazilian fans for a long time now. Obviously, starting with One Tree Hill, and now with Everyone is Doing Great, continue to feel that support and are very thankful for that. So that's why we're happy to spend the time with you today and talk about both shows and
Thank you.
we're excited to get season 2 out there and yes, we would love nothing more than to come screen Everyone is Doing Great down there. So whoever has a theater down there, whoever runs events down there in your city, We're here. We're available.
We
You
have
just
a
let
lot
us
of.
know, and we'll come. We'll come play.
I have one thing that I want to show you before we left. Let me see if I can put here because it's a thing that I did when I was 11 years old, and I want to show you guys because I think it's different and it's not working. I don't know why, but it's a
Oh
picture.
no.
Oh yeah, I can't do this. I don't know
You
why.
could.
It's something about One Tree Hill, but it's a photo that I did with my sister-in-law and my brother when I was 11. I am 28 now. That we did like I don't know how to say this in English, but it's an ornogram, like a data uh,
Uh-huh.
with the names of all the characters and who kissed who, like all the characters
Oh, like a,
all the
yeah.
seasons.
That's a
Yeah,
lot of. That must have been a lot of different. Because there's a lot of
but
kissing
it's
that went on in that show. With a lot. I
yeah.
think everyone kissed everyone.
James didn't kiss a lot of girls.
That's
He
true. That's
just
true.
kissed like
Right.
three or four girls, and you either. I think it's just Alex and Mia and Brooke.
There were a couple others.
If we're right, yeah.
But
I
that
sh-
was good to know.
Well,
not on the scene.
well, we
And
commend you for being such data-driven 11-year-olds. That's very, very impressive. You guys were ready for this new world that we live in now. That's for sure.
Very nice
Nice
to chat with
thank
you.
you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you too. Thank you.
to see you.
Take care.
Nice to meet you.
Whoa.